do here on the sensible side of the House.
Chris Hipkins, this is a split call.
It is indeed,
5
Mr.
minutes.
Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if we needed yet another example of the arrogance that has taken hold in this government in the last few weeks, we just got it there. We just got it there from Queen Margaret talking about the chattering classes. And anybody who didn't agree with the current government, they're the chattering classes. The chattering classes. Well, I have to say, the people in Upper Hutt are interested in this piece of legislation, because this legislation means that Nick Smith and Fran Wild, who have been plotting and scheming to cook up an amalgamation in the Wellington region, can do so and take away their right to have a say on it by way of referendum. Because we know that the plotting and scheming to do away with the democratically elected local councils in the Wellington region has been going on for some time in this government. It's been going on for some time in this government. What's that got to do with the bill? Well, Maggie Berry, Queen Margaret wants to know what that's got to do with the bill. This bill basically allows the government to do away with the local authorities in the Wellington region without the people of Wellington having a chance to have a say on it. Actually, if someone passes me a copy of the bill, I might read it to her slowly so that she could actually understand what was in the legislation. That I can't believe she managed to speak for a whole 5 minutes on it. So one might have thought she might have read it. I think that's probably the longest speech she's given in the House, but clearly she hasn't actually read the legislation. So this bill removes the ability of the people from Upper Hutt to have a say on whether they want to be amalgamated with Lower Hutt or with Wellington City or with the Kapiti Coast. They, at the moment, have an ability to have a say on that, taken away by this arrogant, out-of-touch national government. And, of course, what did they do? What did they do to build the case for doing this? Well, first of all, they followed the Nick Smith playbook. Manufacture a crisis. That's right. So come up with a whole lot of bogus statistics and make up a crisis. When was the last time he did that? Oh, with ACC. How did that turn out for him? How did that turn out for Nick Smith in the end when he last manufactured a crisis in ACC? Didn't work out quite so well for him. But it all came unravelled when we found out that the statistics that he was using were totally bogus. His own officials came out and said that his statistics had been bogus, and they replaced them on the website with this statement. So the stats, they were up there on the website. DIA replaced it with a statement that says there are issues with the data, both in terms of the accuracy and in terms of the picture that was given for some councils. That's the DIA officials basically saying Nick Smith wasn't telling the truth. That's right. Their own minister wasn't telling the truth about the true picture of local government. That is an indictment on the government that his own officials didn't believe him. His own officials actually went so far as to put a statement on a website that said he was wrong, that said that he wasn't telling the truth. Now, of course, there's a bit more to this as well. Because this government, they rushed this legislation in. Did they talk to the people that were going to be affected by it? No, of course they didn't. So we've got the chair of Local Government New Zealand saying here, and I'll quote, "A number of our members have expressed concern at the lack of any consultation on the proposed changes before they were signed off by the Cabinet." Oh, now that's a bit familiar. Where have we heard that in the last few weeks? I think just about every teacher and principal and school board of trustees in the country shared a similar concern for another set of changes they were pushing through. Because this is not a government that does things with people. This is a government that does things to people. It doesn't actually care what the chattering classes, as Maggie Barry refers to them, doesn't care what they think. It knows better. National knows best. That's the mantra of John Key's government. National knows best. And they'll do whatever they like. Forget about referendums. Forget about anything where people might actually have a say. National will just do whatever it feels like. And this is yet another example of that in action, where this bill being introduced without consulting properly with the people who are going to be affected by it, without consulting with the people who might know something about local government, because this government certainly doesn't seem to. And the DIA, again, this is the DIA, the government's own officials, another quote from them, they are concerned about, well, this is quite an indictment really, quote from TIA, they're worried about that there is, quote, a risk as to whether the proposals will work. This is the government officials saying they don't know whether the proposals in this bill are actually going to work. And they further go on to argue that the assumptions the legislation is based on have not or only partially been tested. A bit like the crazy idea to increase class sizes where there was a flimsy evidential basis.
Denise Roche.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. I'm rising